Okay, my smartphone shows 3:30, so let's get started. Call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Corrections Partnership. Seems like a long time since we met. I believe we canceled the last one. So we'll take roll call. I'll start on my right if you'll state your name and the agency you represent.
Robin McRae, Community Human Services.
Corey Wu, Workforce Development Board, representing Chris Donnelly.
Anna Galvez, District Attorney's Office, Victims of Crime Unit.
Manny Gonzalez, representing the Office of the CAO.
Bob Masterson, King City Chief, representing Monterey County Chiefs.
John Mino, Sheriff's Office.
Marsha Parsons, Probation.
Annie Brereton, Office of County Counsel.
Chris Ruolo, Superior Court.
Elliot Robinson, Department of Social Services.
Berkeley Brannon, representing District Attorney Dean Flippo.
Amy Miller, Behavioral Health.
Yvette Irving, Monterey County Office of Education.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Let the record reflect there were no additions or corrections to the agenda.
Thank you. I'll take public comment now on any item not on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move to the consent calendar. Is there any member of the Community Corrections Partnership that would like to pull either of these items off the consent calendar? Is there any member of the public that would like to pull either of these items off the consent calendar? Are there any, is there any discussion, additions, corrections? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Give Burke the first, I'll take the second.
Burke, are you seconding?
Yeah, I made the motion.
You made the motion?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Now we'll move to our scheduled matters. Receive a fiscal update on AB 109 funding and budget. And I would like to call the Probation Department's wonderful finance manager, Don Sosa, to present this item.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. In front of you, you have the updated public safety realignment actual and projected expenditures. So the last update occurred in February. So since then, the governor has released its May revise, as well as the Department of Finance giving advice out for the budget, and the California State Association of Counties as well has contributed to the projections for revenue on this. So I'd like to first draw your attention to the projected fiscal year 16-17 column, and the update there is for annual expenditures for this fiscal year that we are currently closing, which ended June 30th, 2017. The annual expenditures have been updated to a projection of $11.9 million. There are still several departments and community organizations reporting and submitting claims for fourth quarter, so that number is just a projection. It is subject to change. Currently, if that projection holds true, we will end up with a fund balance of $7.7 million at the end of last fiscal year, and that contains two components. The first component is the annual reserve, which is approximately $1.9 million, and the rest is the regular fund balance, which is about $5.9 million. The second update done is for the current year that we're now in. It now reflects the approved budget from February of 2017 by the CCP. The current budget is $13.4 million. And the current projected fund balance at the end of this current year is $6.7 million. And again, that has two components, the reserve and the regular fund balance. Just seeing if there's any questions from...
Sorry. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay.
I'm going to move on to the second part of the report, which is the ad hoc committee that was put together to discuss funding and services. The ad hoc committee met several times over the past months. It was made up of members of probation, the sheriff, the public defender, and social services.
Hang on a minute, I'm sorry.
Sure.
The board report concerning that is in your packet. Looks like this.
Thank you. The committee reviewed expected expenditures based on the current year and the projected year with the new budget. They also reviewed the revenue projections that were presented by the governor's May revise and the Department of Finance's projections for sales tax and VLF. Also reviewed were current service levels being offered and programs. At the end of those meetings, there was a consensus from the committee that included the maintenance of sustainability of the current programs over the next 4 years with the current funding, the realization that based on the projections that fund balance would need to be used to balance the budget in the next coming years. And additionally, they also developed an overall strategy which included the following items. Ensure the sustainability of the current programs and service levels. Continue to monitor fund balance and report out. Use this current fiscal year, 17-18, as a compass for ongoing years. This year, if you all recall, there was a budget workshop that was put on with the CCP, and during that budget workshop, there was some realignment of expenses to actuals. And so that is going to develop into a more realistic budget that will be more closely spent, if you will. There's been some savings in the past years. Additionally, there was an agreement to postpone increasing services pending the outcome of fiscal year 17-18 because of that realignment of the budget during the workshop. And also the agreement to advise the CEO's office of recommendations and impacts to the services based on fund balance and ongoing expenditures. I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Dawn? Any questions? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the growth allocation for this year, I don't know what we projected, but obviously it's way less than it was in 16-17, down to 266. Is it, I know the 18-19 and years out are just projections, but should we be looking at a lot smaller anticipated growth if this year's 266 for next year is 678 even close?
I've noted in the comments above the future sections that the growth allocation is really volatile. Over the past 2 years, it's come in at higher projections, and it's been reduced by almost more than half each time. So the January budget comes out from the governor, it looks a lot higher. By the time the May revise gets to us, it's almost in half. So again, these are projections based on what's been presented in the May revise. So the 678 in 18-19 was projected in the May revise of the governor's budget. But based on historical, I would expect that would probably be dropped substantially. And again, the growth fund is only, that line of revenue is only fulfilled after the base allocation is fulfilled. So if sales tax doesn't meet the base or just meets the base, the growth is affected.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the members? Questions for Dawn?
Not a question, just a comment kind of on that realignment growth, because I think I pushed Dawn pretty hard on that issue. And the observation I had is that we're still spending down the reserve balance to the point of negative. So as realignment growth comes in, that's one of the things that we should watch carefully so that we can sustain our programs in an environment where you also have increasing costs.
Any other comments, questions? Any comments or questions from the public? Thank you very much. Well, this has been one of the shortest CCP meetings I've ever chaired. So we'll go down the line and see if there's any announcements. Robin, I'll start with you.
I would just like to say you can keep time, Marcia. Thank you.
Elliot? Bert? Annie? I know. Amazing. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Tell Pam you'll come to these meetings tomorrow.
You guys want me here instead of?